Yay, thank you, baby. Yan, okay. Ay, wala ka. Good evening. Okay, share muna natin live video. Good evening, good evening. Oof, okay. Hold on. Yan, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Oh, you know how it is. Kailangan pabilisan sa mga gusto lalo mag-participate for tonight's session. Kailangan bilisan natin mag-send ng entries habang medyo tahimik pa ang ating inbox. Okay? So habang naghihintay tayo ng mga kasama natin for tonight, coffee muna tayo. Okay, I hope it's not too weird to see me drinking coffee late at night. Ganun talaga eh. Okay. By the way, I hope napanood niyo yung ating weekly tarot reading kasi medyo ayun na, nag-umpisa na. Medyo kapit-kapit tayo sa energies this week. Medyo kahit ako yung napapakapit. So if you haven't watched, by the way, just to give you a glimpse, for the first 4 days of the week, we have major cards, and that means these are major happenings, possible major happenings, and possible na medyo kailangan natin maghanda, or when in fact kailangan natin maghanda talaga. So if you haven't watched our weekly tarot reading, I highly suggest. Medyo roller coaster ride na naman tayo this week. And so it really helps for us to really prepare kasi it really lessens the impact when we become very mindful. And to mind you, I'm not bulletproof of our weekly reading. Syempre kahit ako. Hello Pri, hello. Oh, nako. Hello Nika. Ano ko yan? Thank you. Pakihay mo ako kay Jazzy. Yan. Oops, ayun na. Ang bilis naman dumarating na agad yung ating mga entries for tonight. So, maya-maya, as we go through our session, syempre, if you're new here, by the way, welcome. Pero syempre, for those who are new here and mga suki din natin, you know how it is, we will always start with sharing the guidelines. Alam natin dapat kung paano tayo magtatanong ng mga questions and if those questions are allowable to be answered. Kailangan alam din natin. Okay. I am Marine. First time watching. Maraming salamat. So, if you have questions about your career, your love life, and or your health, this is the perfect time for us to ask those questions. May guidelines lang tayo. Let me type in pala. The instructions on how to participate. I will be just keying it in our comment section. Okay? You would want to participate. Ako, ayan na. To start nang mag-fill in ang ating mga questions for tonight. So, you know how it is. First come, first serve po tayo. So, kailangan mabilisan ang ating pagsasend ng entries for tonight. And then, Okay. Okay. There you go. And this is our guidelines and instruction for participating in tonight's session. Oh, yan na. And speaking of, dumadami na uli ang ating mga entries. And I'm so happy that, wow, now I am seeing yung sets ng ating mga, syempre, unang-una yung ating mga suki. So, and later on, so again, let me take the opportunity to remind everybody na panoorin yung ating weekly tarot reading. So, if you're new here in our YouTube channel, so every Tuesdays and Thursdays rather, this is an opportunity where we provide service to everybody. So we have our live sessions, and the live sessions will cover up yung mga questions natin and the guidance that we need according to these life experiences. That's what these live sessions are about. And every Sunday, we provide a free weekly tarot reading for everybody. It's like the weekly energy ng ating mga araw. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised na it literally is like the weather for the day. Na there is a huge possibility that you will go through these things, and the more, especially if there are warnings, that we need to be mindful about, it allows us to prepare, and when we are prepared, nababawasan syempre yung impact nung, especially if these are warnings, especially if these are things that we need to be mindful about, it lessens the impact. We get to prepare, and yung impact sa ating hindi tayo ganun ka directly it can shake us, but literally it allows us to give it more time to provide a better strategy on how to go through with it and to rise above with that situation. And specifically this week is definitely one heck of a roller coaster ride, because from the first 4 days of this week, we are gonna be having major cards. That means, lalo by the way, bukas, tomorrow is it's a warning day. Tomorrow you have to be mindful. Actually, even yesterday and today, today is a pause day. That's why I was just really at home, literally, but because as you can see, the weather kanina. So here, just so you know, here in Manila, the weather medyo maulan kanina, and you're really gonna be compelled to stay indoors because it's like a bad weather earlier. Yeah. Hello, JK. Ay, wow, nako, andyan ang mga Team Mega World natin. Hello, JK. Nice to meet you, and maraming salamat for joining in tonight's session. Alam mo na. And I'm pretty sure, dahil yun ang ating mga Team Mega World, nako, for your investment needs. Yan na ang ating Team Mega World. But also, syempre, ang Team Mega World natin, syempre, full support yan because the testimonials, the testimonials that we are continuously getting from this team is really amazing. And I'm very, very, very grateful. Okay. Ay, hello, Michelle. Good evening. Nice of you to join us. Maraming salamat. So, in just a short while, we're gonna be starting with our session. Sa mga gusto mag-participate, it's really your time for you to send out your questions right away. Kung gusto niyo mag-participate, nakalagay sa ating pin post yung ating instructions on how to participate. And definitely later on, we will do a run-through of that. Ay, syempre naman, my super mom is watching with us tonight, and that's my mama. Hello, good evening, ma. Love you. Thank you for the continuous support. Yan. Okay. At habang, syempre pag si Kala nakikita na nakaharap na naman ako either in my iPad or sa laptop, nako, magpapapansin na naman yan. Ay, hello, Pals. Good evening. Nako, I'm calling you by your username. I'm sorry na, but good evening, good evening. Nice of you to join us uli. Suki natin yan. So, pag gusto mag-participate, isa si Pals yun sa laging napakasugid mag-abang sa ating weekly tarot reading. So, kamusta naman? Ang natin, Tuesday pa lang, Monday and Tuesday. Naku pa, actually, first 4 days. Sabi ko nga, the first 4 days, kapit-kapit, roller coaster ride, Kala. So, don't be surprised if maya-maya as we start our session, naku po, meron tayong lovely guests. Naku, I'm pretty sure si Kala will come join us. You wanna say hi, Kala? Let's go. Okay, tingnan lang natin yung natin. Hold on. Okay. You know what? Let's start na dahil dumadating na yung ating medyo napupuno na uli yung ating inbox. So how about we make this session very meaningful dahil napakahaba ng pila natin. Okay? Can I ask how love? Ay, shush. Ay, naku. Oy, okay. Anong tawag dito? Sa lahat ng mga gusto mag-participate, may guidelines tayo. Kasi here in Reiki with Marky, syempre, we would always want to honor yung ating identity. And para naman, no matter how sensitive or how confidential our questions can be, syempre, ang maganda niyan is we keep your identities confidential para naman hindi kayo mahiya or majahe to ask these questions kasi ang goal natin is to help everybody no matter how challenging their life experiences are. So, and para din walang judgment and para hindi din kayo mahiya, we will share you the guidelines on how to participate. It's also a pin post in our comment section. So, eto na. So let's go ahead and start with our session. But if you're new here, we here in Reiki with Marky, we will always start our sessions with a prayer. Kasi ang mahalaga when we go through our sessions is that we will be divinely guided so that yung God's grace will be given to us and so that the right guidance na kailangan nating ma-receive for today ay ma-receive natin. Okay? I am also a practicing Hindu, so I will be saying my prayers in Hindu. Now, I highly encourage everybody, no matter which belief system or religion you're following, to join me in prayers. So let us all pray for guidance, wisdom, and protection for tonight's session. Okay? Okay. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshvara, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshvara, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ay, nandiyan pa kayo. Very good. Hello. Okay. Ay, kalimutan ko ang aking lapel dahil may budget na pala tayo for lapel. Okay. So, ikabit lang natin to for better voice quality. And this is again brought to you by Boya. This is Boya by M1. So, Boya, baka naman na may collab. Let me just plug it in. Hold on. Ayan. Welcome to my ASMR. Joke lang. Huwag tayo ma-confused. Okay. So, let me... Ayan. Okay. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Magandang gabi po. My name is Marky Mendoza, and I'm a Reiki master and a teacher, also an intuitive tarot reader and teacher. And welcome to your official Tuesday night habit. This is Tarot Tuesdays. So, dito po sa Tarot Tuesdays, we provide free tarot reading para sa inyong lahat. So, alam ko sa marami po sa atin, and not just yung ating mga suki. Of course, if you're new here, I know some of you may be going through things in our life, these experiences, and that's where Reiki with Marky will all help you. And ang goal po ng Reiki with Marky is to provide a very balanced na guidance po para sa lahat. So, through the help of our tarot cards, we will be reading your energies. So, speaking of energies, yung energies po natin ang pinagbabasehan natin ng ating mga readings na makukuha for tonight. So, Kung ang next question naman po natin is, what is comprised of our energies and how would we know what our energies are? There are three elements comprising of our energies. So, everything that's current, so yung mga current na thoughts natin, kung ano man ang mga pinaprocess natin sa isipan natin, and from the thoughts that we are processing, ano naman yung mga decisions that we have to make, or kung ano naman yung mga decisions that we have to narrow down. And lastly, our decisions in which kung alin man yung mga napagdesisyonan natin, and which of those decisions we take action to, yun ang magiging comprised ng ating energy. And once na gumalaw na tayo and we start taking action, it will now be subjected, lahat ng galaw natin will be subjected to the universal law of cause and effect. So simply, in the Christian or the Catholic faith, we may call it the golden rule: do not do unto others what we don't want to be done unto you. Or also here for us Hindus, we also call it the law of karma. And science calls it Newton's third law of motion, in which in every action there's always equal or unequal action reaction. Simply the universal law of cause and effect. Now, ang mga questions na mababasa natin tonight, anything that concerns your career, anything that concerns your love life, and anything then of your health, yan ang mga magiging primary topics natin. But of course, there may be other questions na hindi covering on those life aspects. You can definitely ask those questions. Also, may mga times din na ibig sabihin, by the way, kung sino yung magtatanong, sa energy ko ninyo hahanapin yung ating sagot. But some of you may have questions concerning other people na ibig sabihin, imbes na directly sa inyo ko hahanapin yung sa energy ninyo ko hahanapin yung sagot, it may entail that I may need to look at somebody else's energy and find the answers from that. And sometimes these are questions about relationships. It can be relationship questions. It can also be mga relationships natin with friends and family. Now, do know na kung ang mga questions na gusto ninyong itanong for tonight will be concerning other people, and kung tatanungin natin, kung yun ang tanong natin at hahanapin ko ang sagot sa energy nila and they do not have the knowledge and the wisdom na gagawin natin yun, it will be a case of overstepping, or simply, it is invasion of privacy. So para tayong naninilip sa buhay ng iba nang wala tayong permiso, and pag yan ang nangyari, meron kasi yung karma. Ang karma, hindi napupunta dun sa nagtanong doon. Yeah. Yun. So, yun. So, pero do know na meron namang paraan para hindi ako magka-karma when it comes to those situations. So all it takes, my say, is to not hold back sa ating mga questions, because primarily ako lang po ang nakakita ng mga questions natin. We also honor the identity sa lahat na magpa-participate for us tonight. So no matter how challenging, no matter how sensitive, and no matter how these questions are really, especially the ones na alam kong bumabagabag na talaga sa inyo, please do ask those questions. And we will make sure na para wala lang tayong karma, all we need to do is to include your energy. Hahatiin natin ang energies ng bawat tao na kasama doon sa mga tanong natin who are directly involved in that experience. And pag ginawa natin yun, pwede na natin siyang itanong. Now, please note na if ever this will happen, there is a high possibility that even after our session for tonight, any given time na yung kasama dun sa equation dun sa tanong natin will either change their thoughts, their decisions, and syempre yung actions nila. Kapag may nagbago sa energy nila, basically, there's a high possibility na babago din yung nakita natin, pwedeng maiba. Why? Because anything outside of us, hindi natin makokontrol ang energy. Hindi natin makokontrol ang mga thoughts and decisions and actions ng ibang tao. Ang sarili lamang po nating energy ang kaya nating kontrolin, and therefore, ang pinaka-accurate na mga possibilities na makikita natin and mababasa natin for tonight will be your own energy, because only you can control your thoughts, decisions, and actions. Therefore, and again, marami sa atin kapag may mga bitbit tayong mga katanungan tonight, ang hinahanap lang naman natin mga posibilidad na mga sagot will be either favorable ba sa atin or hindi favorable sa atin ang sitwasyon. Now, in this case, no matter kung ano man ang current energy mo, kasi tandaan, ang nababasa natin ay ang current energy, and kung maganda na ang ating mabubunot na ng cards for tonight, okay ba yun? Dahil pwede pa natin siyang pagandahin by improving our thoughts, our decisions, and our actions. And also, kung hindi naman ganun ka-favorable yung mga mabubunot nating cards and the energies that come with it, all we need to do is to shift our thoughts, our decisions, and our actions, and hindi na rin natin siya makukuha. So definitely, this is your ultimate guide to walking through your life experiences. And this is how Reiki with Marky will help everybody. Libre lamang po ang magtanong. Now, we are going to be using our Golden Tarot deck, and this is by Cat Black as our official tarot deck for tonight. And by the way, kung magtatanong tayo tonight, meron tayong dalawang possible cards na mabubunot. We have major cards and minor cards. So, kung ang mabubunot po natin sa mga katanungan ninyo will be a major card, ibig sabihin klarong-klaro po. Ang kasagutan ay klarong-klaro. Either it's a sure blessing or it can be a warning. Ngayon, kung hindi naman po major card ang makukuha natin in cases of minor cards, hindi naman po ibig sabihin hindi ito maganda. Ang minor cards, ibig sabihin lang parang prutas lang yan na kailangan muna nating pahinugin. And when it's already ripe for the picking, and that's the time that we will manifest our blessings. And also, ang maganda niyan, may say, no matter what your questions are, wag po kayong matakot malaman yung energies natin because all we need to know sometimes as well is to gauge where we are at versus our goals. And when we have an idea kung nasaan na po tayo, you will have an idea on how much energy, how much effort, how much work we will have to do more to manifest our blessings. So in short, I will always say this, lahat po na makukuha natin for tonight will always be a blessing. No matter how very good the cards are, the energies are, and the opposite, I will always say, you will always receive good news. Kasi imagine nyo, kapag blessings, you have something to look forward to. And also, if there are warnings, it allows you to really discover on how you will improve your energies and hindi para natin makuha yung warning and that warning can turn into a blessing. So you will always receive blessings. So, that is it for our guidelines for tonight. Kung gusto naman natin mag-participate, all we need to do is just simply share our live video in your social media. So it can be any of your social media platforms that you are using. Go ahead. Basta ang kailangan lang po kung saan po natin i-share ang ating live video, just make sure you take a screenshot of that and then send to our official Facebook page. And that is at Everyday Reiki with Marky. Send it in our inbox. And I know some of you I am friends with online. Please do note na naka-streamline po ang mga questions natin. I'm only checking our official Facebook page inbox para po we can be sure na masusundan natin yung pinaka-hierarchy ng ating sets of questions because sa lahat magpa-participate, we will honor only first come first serve in our in answering our questions for tonight para sa session natin. And also, we will answer one question at a time. I know some of you may have several questions for tonight. Uunahin po natin yung first question ninyo and once we answer that, uubusin lang din po natin yung queue and once we're done with that, we will have follow-throughs. Now, I know some of you medyo minsan 'di ba aga-aga pa lang masyado ng marami ng pila and I know some of you week after week inaagahan so this is really your chance para makabawi. And also kung hindi naman tayo ganun kapalad for tonight's session, meron pa naman tayong Tarot Thursday. Samahan niyo po uli ako doon so that it will be a very meaningful session. Okay, I wanna say hi muna to everybody. Oy, naku po, si Damien, nandito na naman si Damien. Isa yan sa napakasugid namin suki. Maraming salamat and welcome. Thank you for always breaking down yung weekly tarot reading natin, Damien. Good evening din sa'yo. And Lulu, hello. Pwede pong magtanong? Ay, sure, pwede po. Basta sundin po natin yung ating guidelines, okay? So, I don't have a question, makikitambay lang. I'll be staying as usual because I love all the lessons I get from you. Ay, salamat naman. Yes, you heard it right from Damien. Dahil po, here in our session, kahit po na wala po tayong particular question, and we stay throughout the session, lahat po ng mga guidance na binibigay ko po sa lahat ng mga pa-participate is something that you can always apply in your own lives. And no matter what aspects of life yung mga gusto nating ma-improve, Reiki with Marky will always be there to guide everybody. Okay? So, sa haba ng chismisan natin, simulan na natin yung ating session. Okay. Okay, so tingnan na natin and good luck sa ating mga nag-send ng mga entries sa kala mo Hunger Games. Okay, may the force be with you. Na iba. Okay, so tingnan na ayan na. Okay. So ang dami na nating participants for tonight. So simulan na natin. Okay, here we go. Ayun. Okay, yung first participant natin nag-share pero wala yatang tanong. So, ano tawag dito, tinanong ko lang kung ano yung tanong. So, balikan natin yan. So, let's proceed na doon sa second natin, ha? Okay, para very efficient tayo for tonight. Aba, kita mo nga naman, yung first participant natin ay isang official suki. Syempre, no? So, I'm so happy na perfect attendance lagi itong first natin. Okay. Ay, thank you so much, JK. Thank you so much for always being there for me. Joke. Joke. Ayan. Okay, so tingnan natin. We will do our very best para masagot lahat ng mga katanungan niyo for tonight. So ito naman ang ating first participant. Okay, ito na ang ating katanungan sa ating first participant. Ano ba ang birthday energy ko in general? Di ko alam if valid ito, pero birthday ko kasi sa 22. It is a very valid question. Para lang syempre we get to also prepare. And you know how it is. Ano mo yun, our birthday, this is really one of the things we anticipate every year. And I'm pretty sure, I hope everybody agrees on that. It's really one amazing milestone in our life. And maganda if when we plan our birthday, syempre, ang goal natin is matupad yung mga plano. So kung ang tanong, is kung ano ang mga energy natin, di ba? It allows you to really anticipate and prepare your day even more. So tingnan natin generally ano bang energy natin. Kilala ko rin itong taong to, napaka-busy nito sa buhay. Ang daming ginagawa nito sa buhay, and that really makes me so proud because I like seeing people working really hard and have a balanced decision in life. And medyo nakikita ko lang na medyo may trabaho tayo sa work. Ayun na naman ako, hindi pa tayo bumubunot. Hindi pa tayo bumubunot, pero nakikita ko na may na medyo busy tayo. Ha? Pero sige, let's see. Para malaman naman natin how we are going to plan ahead. Okay, dahil malapit na yan. By the way, advance happy birthday sa iyo. I'm so happy to greet you first here in our channel tonight. So, tingnan natin. Okay, tingnan natin. Here we go. Gulat naman ako. Sakto naman yung may pumasok na kakasabi ko nga lang. Okay. Okay. So this is really very a very good way to prepare your day. So equally it's the same na energies that I felt earlier. So this is your card. We have the King of Cups. Okay, very good. The King of Cups, by the way, this is a minor card. And when we get cups in our tarot card, it can mean two things. It can be a celebration and it can also be a form of emotion. By the way, this is both. On your birthday, this is both. And okay. So this is really a very good, and this is really gonna be very meaningful for you because sabi ko nga, you're gonna be busy. And I know this is your special day and you would want to celebrate this. And to remind everybody, I mean, celebrating birthdays in a time of pandemic is really, really, really something. So I highly encourage everybody, especially if it's your birthday, to celebrate it no matter what. And the celebrations need not to be very grand. The celebrations need not to be like unlike how we planned it before pre-pandemic. Parang ganun. What's important is that we get to celebrate our life with the people who matter to us. Of course, minding our health protocols, no. But you will also discover that during that day, yun nga, medyo there are important meetings that you cannot miss. That's the thing. And at the same time, I know these are opportunities that you would like to grab, that you would want to prioritize and even set aside your own personal time just because you know your priorities really well. And that's about to happen during your birthday. And that also brings forth an opportunity of blessing, of course, because you know how it is in the line of work that you do, more opportunities for you to connect with these people. Very beneficial. So I say it will also be a little emotionally like a roller coaster ride because there are also some personal matters in your family that will also arise, some certain discussion that we need to also look into, that it will happen actually a few days before your birthday. But when your birthday happens, so these are the things na kailangan nating also tignan. Okay, so those are the things that you will, especially on the emotional side of things, these are the possible emotions that you may go through. Facing on the need to prioritize and fixing personal matters, balancing your career because you have important meetings to attend to, client meetings to attend to, and at the same time you would want to celebrate your life. But don't worry, you will always have the perfect ability to balance these. Ikaw pa, kilala kita, napakagaling mo mag-balance sa ganyan. So my say, do not also feel bad that you may not necessarily have all the luxury and the time for you to celebrate. But my say, you, no matter what you are doing, no matter how big or small, no matter if there's an occasion or not, keep celebrating. Celebrate because there are many blessings around us. Celebrate because you know how the universe works and you know how to work well with the universe, and this makes you very abundant. So, more reasons for you to celebrate. Now, I know there's just timing that we'd really want to give to ourselves. Balance everything. Wala ring masama if you would want to honor celebrating. Wala ring masama if you would want to honor me time. Wala ring masama if you would want a little rest so that you can recover and celebrate your special day. Wala ring masama doon. In the end, ikaw pa rin na masusunod. In the end, kung anong magpapasaya sa'yo on that day, of course, honor that. If you feel like, making your career a priority will give you fulfillment, by all means, go ahead and do that. If you can find the balance for everything, go ahead and do that. If you want to take a pause and literally just be that day for yourself, and go ahead and do that. So long as in the end, no matter kung anong pipiliin natin, no matter kung ano man yung kailangan nating piliin as well, or kung ano yung gusto mong piliin, in the end, basta magpapasaya yun sa'yo. Yun ang piliin mo. Okay? So, my say, I don't have anything else to warn you about kasi alam ko naman, I'm confident enough that you can rise above this. And I know and I trust that you can find the balance in everything. Okay? Thanks for joining our Tarot Tuesdays. And teka lang, I'm pretty sure dahil nanonood to, lagi pa naman akong tinatag nito sa mga ano. So dahil dyan, sige na, gagandahan ko yung angulo ko, tapos kasi, ini-screenshot kasi ako. Ganyan. Pero pag tinaga ko niyan sa Instagram ko, alam ko na. Okay, so welcome ulit everybody. My name is Marky Mendoza. I'm a Reiki master and teacher, also an intuitive tarot reader and teacher. Welcome to your Tuesday Night Habit Tarot Tuesdays. So, eto na naman tayo. Magbibigay ng serbisyo sa lahat ng mga kailangan nating tulungan. So, kung may tanong ka, anything sa love life, sagot ko yan. And syempre, kapag may katanungan tayo sa mga career natin, tulad yung unang-una natin pang career, grabe siya. Okay? Yung health ang pinaka-important sa atin. So, go ahead and I would love to answer everybody's question. Go ahead and send it over. Kung gusto niyo mag-participate, libre lang. Nakalagay sa pin post natin yung ating instructions and guidelines. Go ahead and join us. I want to say hi sa aking longtime friend, Yin Marie. Thank you for joining us tonight. Okay? Baka may tanong ka, alam mo na. So, all you need to do, share the live video, take a screenshot of that, and yung screenshot is send natin sa Facebook page. It's at Everyday Reiki with Marky. Sagot ko yan. And si Lariel, ayan na. Ito na ating mga Team Mega World. So again, for your investment needs, Arcovia, andyan na ating Team Mega World. Napakagaling. And thank you pala sa sobrang... By the way, for my fellow Hindus, happy Navaratri. This is day 5 of our Navaratri. And for those of you who may not know of Navaratri, it's a 9-day Hindu celebration to celebrate one of the most revered goddesses in the Hindu pantheon, is Goddess Durga. And literally, this festival is to celebrate her triumph over evil. So Mother Durga is that sacred feminine energy that has beat this infamous demon named Mashasura. And it was a very good battle between good and evil. And of course, in the end, Goddess Durga, Mother Durga, has triumphed. And that's why we, in every this time of the year, we celebrate this Hindu festival for 9 days. We are at day 5. We are offering fasting, meditation, and prayers. And so later on, after our show, show talaga yan. Magpa-pray na uli kami meditation. Yan. Ay, sus, yung first timer. Hello, JK. Sige, alam ko naman nakapila ka na. Sige na nga, trabaho na tayo. Ang dami ko kasing daldal. Sige na. Ito na, ang dami nakaabang. Tignan na natin yung ating next participant. Okay. Ay, shush. Nako. Yung Suki natin ba, yung next participant natin, Suki, na usually ang mga tanong natin is, usually yung tanong nitong Suki ko na to is about career. Aba, ngayon tatanong ng love life. Siyempre gagalingan ko. Okay, sige. Love life naman ang gusto mo. Ay, shush. Teka, I wanna know, if you're gonna be asking about your love life, please indicate if you are in a relationship or looking. Dahil oftentimes, I play Cupid. So, para kung gusto mo nang maghanap ng kadate, di ba, gagamitin natin yung plataforma natin para mahanapan ka ng kabiyak ng iyong puso. Teka, okay. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to ask this, siyempre, but the more specific our questions, the better. Kasi there are times, and so nanonood pa naman yung sorry na gagawin kita example, although hindi ko sasabihin kung sino ka. And usually kasi when I check the energy of the person, I check the lingering energy and the current energy. And sometimes, nararamdaman ko yung lingering energy. Ex pala yung nararamdaman ko. Medyo matagal na, no? So, what you should know about our energies, this is really in every session, this is really a way for us to also understand how our energy affects us and how alam mo, kayo dyan ha, grabe kayo. So ayan ang mga tao sa comment section, kayo talaga, grabe kayong maglaglaga dyan. Hindi natin nilalaglag yung mga tao dito. Hindi tayo magre-release ng mga puro lang tayo blind item. joke lang, okay? So, ayan na, nakita na nung in a relationship. Okay, sige. So, ito kasing tanong niya, Master, ask ko lang love life ko this year, 2021. Okay, sige. Okay, let's go. Tignan natin. Let's see what is the energy ng love life natin. Okay? Okay, here we go. Ay, palaka. Oh my gosh, buti na lang hindi yun yung kinuha ko. Buti na lang. Buti, may nalaglag na card. Usually, many readers would choose that kung ano yung nag-pop up. But for me, I would honor kung ano yung pinili ko. Sometimes I do both. Sometimes I do. Depends on, but buti na lang hindi because that was the warning card. But let's see. Ayun. Very good. Okay. So by the way, before I give you the guidance, so sa lahat ng mga magpa-participate for tonight, as you can see, ano naman ang hinihintay natin dito ng mga sagot, mga possibilities natin, either it's going to be favorable o hindi. Huwag matakot magtanong. Okay, why? Because no matter where we are at in that life experience, sabi ko nga, marami tayong opportunity for us to turn our lives around, to be very mindful. That's the key para makapag-manifest ng mas maganda. Para lang meron tayong idea where we are at. Okay? Now, we have a minor card for this, and don't be worried if it's a minor card that we have, because it allows you to know and to gauge how much effort pa ang ibibigay natin, gaano pa kadaming energy yung ibubuhos natin, so that we would also improve. And of course, the goal there is to always improve, di ba? Hindi naman tayo what you call this, we wouldn't want to wish something ill towards our own life experiences, and mostly towards other people as well, di ba? So this is the Ace of Wands as our card yung sa ating question about our love life and your relationship. And you know what? When we talk about the wands in our tarot cards represent hard work and effort. And you look at that. Look at that fire, that passion. Look at that. It's burning with passion. And I can see na both parties are really doing their very best para palaguin, to grow more love in the foundation of relationships. And though as you go through this, I am not pertaining when I say that both parties are growing love. I do not pertain that the story will be like always just a fairy tale ending wherein all sweets, sugar, and spice, and everything nice. Parang gano'n na hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng opportunities ng pagtatampo o kaya parang sama ng loob or arguments. I'm not saying that because honestly, hindi nasusukat na ang relationship na maganda, ang relationship na strong is only from start to finish or as continuously, laging masaya. I want to remind everybody that the relationship becomes stronger when the relationship goes through the even not just the good things, not just the blessings in life, not just the blessings in the relationship, but also when the couple learns to rise above any life challenges, because that is how you will prove the teamwork, the cooperation in the relationship. As you go through the ups and downs, you get to discover not just who you are as a person, but how you work together as a couple, na kung ano man yung pagdadaanan pa in the future, because you cannot expect na isang bagay lang ang pagdadaanan natin, isang life experience lang ang pagdadaanan natin in the span of our relationship. We can never expect that. We will expect that, let's say, when we get to rise above one current situation, that there's a huge possibility na hindi man pareho, it can be something different, it can be something new, it can be something that will also has a tendency to shake the grounds of the relationship, only to make it stronger when you get to rise above from that. And this is what I am seeing right here, because in every situation that you get to rise above from allows you to discover how well you work together. Kaya wag matatakot. Wag matatakot. And I'm telling you, hindi lang naman to sa hindi lang naman yung ganito sa hindi lang naman yung ganito sa romantic relationships. It can be any form of relationships. Lahat ng relationships ay tinatrabaho. Kahit sa magkakaibigan, kahit sa magkakapatid, magkakamag-anak, magkakatrabaho, lahat ng klase ng relasyon, ito ay tinatrabaho. And I can see the hard work is also paying off. Now, my say kasi, do not, and I know kasi sometimes kasi the differences in terms of personality, in terms of approach and love. And I know some of you, maybe meron tayong iba-iba ang roles that we play depending on what relationships we are handling. So oftentimes, iba ka as a brother or a sister, iba ka rin as bilang anak, iba ka rin bilang kaibigan, pero iba ka rin kapag ikaw ay life partner. And I know these roles, no matter which roles you are portraying, it requires a different set of approach, and that is perfect, and that is okay, because and more some would agree, and na no matter how you are towards other people, pagdating sa life partner, nandoon yung nandun ka, you don't hold back, nandun yung totoong personality mo, you are most comfortable, because that's one good thing about our relationship partners, na we get to be ourselves without being judged. And that is also another measure how you can both work well together, kasi no matter how comfortable you are with each other, with your own skin, with your own personality, and how you are both as a couple, through thick and thin, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you get to embrace that. You get to love and appreciate that sa isa't isa. And that's the beauty of being in a relationship. Now, wag po tayo matatakot to go through these arguments or any form of life challenge that both parties need to go through and to rise above from, because in the end you will get to learn something. In the end you will also develop patience, in the end you will develop endurance, in the end you will develop more love and respect towards each other. So my say, don't be afraid to go through it. Now, I'm seeing that you also have future plans, and I am seeing that you are doing really what it takes for you to secure the foundation that you need for the future, and that's a very good, and that is a very good way for you to prepare. Now, allowing you to do this also allows you to recognize how much more yung mga efforts ay ibibigay natin as we go through our future plans, and yung mga goals, dreams, and aspirations natin. Mapapakita mo rin na you can be that someone that you're willing to build this foundation together, and you're doing well on that. Actually, both parties are. You don't need to prove anything to each other. All you need is to keep loving each other more through thick and thin. Dagdagan mo lang ang pasensya. Okay, you know what I mean. Dagdagan mo lang ang pasensya mo. And you'll be good. Honestly, I don't have any complaints on this. Because my saying, this is really good. When you see that fire, you see that you instantly feel that passion. And I'm very proud of you, because when you talk about loving the person, when you're passionate towards the person, you're basically unstoppable. Diba? So keep loving each other, and do whatever it takes. Push forward on how you're gonna both work together in strengthening the love and respect towards each other, and never be afraid. Never be afraid to go through anything and everything in life, so long as you both go through it together, no matter what. Thanks for joining Tarot Tuesdays. So, next naman tayo, I'm sure, sige, magsagot na tayo na magsagot dahil alam ko, ang goal naman natin is matulungan lahat. So, magdire-diretso na tayo. But I want to say hi to my fellow Reiki master all the way from California, USA. I'm so happy. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to your morning habit. Magpuja tayo later. So, okay, so, I want to say hi din sa Bessie natin, si Jen Salazar. Hello. Hello, nice to see you, Bessie. Maraming salamat. So, let's move forward sa ating next. Ay, thank you. Welcome din. Welcome. Maraming salamat din sa pagtitiwala. Okay, next na tayo. Okay. Ayun, isang suki na naman ang ating next participant. So here we go. Please look into my career this month, Master. Walang problema. Tingnan na natin. Okay. Ay, okay. Kalma lang. Oh, ito si Jake. Sige, malapit na. Nakita ko na yung entry mo. Okay, kalma. Kalma lang. Nararamdaman na kita. Okay, so, career daw sa ating next na participant. Okay, tingnan natin. Kalma ka lang. Nararamdaman ko na hindi pa bumubunot, nararamdaman ko na yung participant. Okay. Alam mo kasi when I read the energies of people, kaya ako nakakabasa ng energies niyo because I tap into your energy. So nararamdaman ko, lalo na kapag mga suki, kapag alam na yung Kala. Ayan na. Nagpapapansin na yung anak ko. Gusto mag-fetch sa labas. Okay. So, we allow at least once in a day, na lumalabas kami. Diyan lang naman sa hallway. Hindi naman kami because mahiyain. So, pag may tao, nahihiya. So, pag gabi, usually namin siya nilalabas. Nagaya nakita na naman niya na may kaharap na naman siyang computer. Sige na. Sorry. Daldal. Eto na. Binibitin ko yung Damang-dama ko yung energy nitong next participant. Eto na. Eto na. Sige. Para daw sa buwan ng October, kamusta naman yung energy ng career? Here we go. Ay, shush. Eto na. Very good. Okay. Alam mo ikaw. Okay. So. This is a very good warning. Okay. This is a very good warning. So again, we are not yet done for this month's energy. And you have so much passion that you have right now. Kaya wag ka magugulo. So, we have the 5 of Cups. And this is your card. Ayun. Yan. Ito yun. Ito anak ko. Here. Wait lang. Pero syempre, since itodo mo na. Mag-hello ka. Hello po. Hello. Ay, shush. Okay, sige. Sandali. Alam mo naman, pag tatay ka, kailangan mag-multi. Here. Yes. Here. Here. Ayun, mag-fetch daw kami. Ayun na. So ayun, mabalik tayo. So, here is the 5 of Cups for our October energy. So, tingnan mo yung energy ng 5 of Cups. So, there are 5 cups standing and may dalawa doon na hindi na nakatayo. So, that's warning there. So, the current energy, there are some wins and there are some na kailangan natin trabahuhin. Now, that's the very good opportunity for you to be more mindful para at least you will gauge how much more efforts yung ating may say, anong tawag dito? In terms of kung ano man yung opportunity that may slip, wag tayong masyadong panghinaan loob. Because not just it is part of the process, but because it allows you to always look forward for these blessings, but also find more ways to be resourceful. Because I know there are goals that we need to achieve, and there are goals that we need to not just achieve, but to really feel very comfortable doing at the end of this month. And I'm sure that you already have, and you're executing a very good plan already. Now, I also want to remind you na as we go through our energies and there are really times that there will be blessings, but at the same time, parang equal yung opportunity. That also allows you na not just to just save for the rainy days and to just do better and prepare what it takes, to also allow you that mindset na no matter what will unfold, there may be blessings and there are things to work on. There are opportunities na kailangan pa natin magtrabaho to double our efforts. It really allows you to develop more wisdom there. One point or another, I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure you're already doing this at the end of the month, and then when you assess your performance, and you can only do this, and remind you, you can only do this process if you get to become honest with yourself. At the end of the month, I want you to also honestly assess your own efforts, honestly assess your energy. And from there, marami ka na matututunan. From there, marami ka pang madidiscover if you're doing something well. For the things that you're doing well, then continue it. And if you know and if you recognize that there may be things that can be done differently, that you can experiment, take calculated risks, I'm sure may madidiscover ka because you know yourself that well. And sometimes kasi ito yung nararamdaman ko sa'yo eh. Sometimes your intuition tells you something of an approach, of a strategy, but sometimes you doubt yourself. Sometimes you think it can be good, but sometimes you are doubting if the results will be as equally the same as you've envisioned it in your mind. My say trust. My say trust your intuition because that is where I'm getting your energies. I am only getting it because I am trusting my intuition as well. And our intuition is our guidance from the divine, from God. And this is a subtle way. If you are also someone who believes in science, kumbaga, when we get that gut feel, when we feel it in our gut, when we feel it to the bone, talagang we just know, we can't explain it, well, we just know. But sometimes it's not really just the intuition, but it's the courage to say yes. It's the courage to say, I'm ready. I'm willing to take that risk. And you have that. I want you to honor that. I want you to trust that because you've done it before. And every single time that you feel this, there is a part of you that says, do I trust my instincts? Do I trust my gut? I feel it. I feel like although this is not popular, this is not something that everybody would agree with. But I just know. I just know. Honor it. Honor it. Because I know there are times kasi din in the past that you tried to honor your gut feel, but it has also led you somewhere in a different path. But I want you to honestly go back in that situation. During that time, there was bias when you were processing it. So this time, when you would want to trust your intuition, trust it with no bias. See all possible angles. When you see and you oversee the situation, I want you to also be honest as you process these decisions. And when you do, when you are very balanced, and then you are very honest in looking into this, and then that's how you get to trust. And then trust that. Sandali, itong anak ko. Yes, anak. O, sige, let's get that. O, fetch na. Okay, fetch. Yes, fetch. Yun. Okay. So, dahil ang anak ko one time, sabi ko, kinakausap ko si baby, sabi ko, baby, maghanda na tayo na in time. Feeling ko, he will come out to us and really say na, I'm going to be identified as a dog. Arf, arf, bark, bark, not meow, meow, not purr. Kasi nagfe-fetch. Pusa na nagfe-fetch, no? Ganun ka sa smart. Nagfe-fetch, nagsisit, nagro-roll. Diyos ko po. Ayun, para siyang dog. So anyway, pag nakita niyo akong fetch-fetch, ganun po talagang mga magulang. Pasensya na. Okay. Going back dito sa ating current participant, my say, all it needs is extra mindfulness. And that's why we are here. That's why we are all here to have a continuous open mind and heart. To have a continuous mind and heart, and to really see what else we can do to keep becoming better with what we do. And in this case, hindi lang naman to pang sa personal natin, pati sa career. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities for us to be better in our career. And kapag na-apply natin yun sa career natin, don't think that it's different when it comes to applying this in our personal aspect. yan din ang mai-apply natin. The same motivation, the same will, the same decision, the same trusting process. Kaya nga here in Reiki with Marky, if you've seen all of our videos, I would always say towards end to keep trusting the process because it is a process we all have to go through. So that is a very good warning for you this weekend. It really allows you to really prepare better, and this time, maganda ang message sa'yo to trust your intuition. And I'm pretty sure when you do, next week abangan natin ha. But again, para sa lahat na magpa-participate, for some of you who would want to ask, kung halimbawa sumali ako sa Tarot Thursday ulit next Thursday, okay, every week kapag lalo na sa mga suki natin na week after week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, laging present sa mga sessions natin. And some of them get to ask the same questions. Some of them get different answers every session, but some of them have consistent answers because remember, saan ko po ba hinuhugot yung mga sagot ko? Through your energy. So that means, remember, ang mga actions natin, kapag ginawa na natin, it will automatically be subjected to the universal law of cause and effect. Yun lang ang magiging basihan natin. In short, you keep doing the same thing over and over, you will always have the same results over and over. And if you are getting and you're satisfied and fulfilled with these results, by all means, of course, keep doing the same thing. But if you are wanting to have a different result this time, and that also requires you for you to do something new. Because hindi huhugot ng bagong outcome sa universe kung wala naman tayong ginagawang bago din. And that means we always, if we want something new and that entails, we should be ready to change. And if we would want to continuously get what we are getting, what we are manifesting, it is to maintain what we are doing. And and we all know ourselves very well. I hope by this time we get to know ourselves well. But if hindi, and there is no judgment for that because I just got to know myself starting when I was practically when I started my spiritual journey. But before that, I was also not truthful. So there's a process right there that I also have gone through. If you're new here with Reiki with Marky, hindi po ako nagbibigay ng advice na hindi ko ginagawa. Hindi po ako nagbibigay ng payo na hindi ko na-apply sa sarili kong buhay. And that's the reason why I'm here in a very good opportunity to share what I'm doing because I'm doing it. And it has essentially worked with me for the longest time. And now I have the capacity to share this. But all it takes is for us to really go through it the same way that I did. So my say, I'm gonna be very excited for you. I know you are always up for the challenge. And so, abangan natin yan. And when you do, syempre, it's our opportunity then to also celebrate this with you. Balitaan mo kami. Thanks for joining Tarot Tuesdays. I want to say hi sa ating mga hello daw po from Boss Rain. Di daw siya ay sus. Ay, hello. Ayun na mga Team Mega World. By the way, that's the princess of Mega World right there, si Rain Zafra. For your investment needs, yan talaga ang leader ng mga bibe na lagi ako naiinggit sa mga kinakain pag nakikita ko yung mga pinopost niya. Grabe. Baka naman. Hindi, wag na parati. Yung padala nga na yung padala nga ni yung padala ni Laril na napakasarap, by the way, butchiron and chicharon, kaya lang naka-fasting po kami. Sorry na. So makakain ko lang siya mga Saturday. O baka nga next week na as part of my devotion. Okay, so okay, no? Nakita niyo si Kala, no? Hello, ang cute-cute kaya ni Kala. And medyo ang dami pa rin niyang energy. So by the way, trabaho na tayo. Ang dami, umiingay na yung ating hotline. Okay? Ay, shush, kanina pa naghihintay ito. Ay, shush, sige. Okay. O, sige. So, ang next participant natin, ay, shush, new participant, nakilig sa atin. Ang sabi niya, love life and career po. Okay, hindi ko na sasabihin yung next kasi medyo giveaway. But, anong tawag dito? You know how it is? For some of us who may have multiple questions, yung uunahin po natin yung first question. We will also get to finish yung queue muna natin para we have fair opportunities para makapag-participate po ang lahat. Ay, sus, kinakabahan daw. Wait lang. Okay, I wanna know if you're in a relationship muna. Okay. And kung hindi, kasi kung hindi, kung gusto nating maghanap ng ng kabiyak sa buhay, pwede naman nating trabahuhin yan. Meron din tayong ano, oftentimes I play Cupid as well. Akong bahala dyan. Ay, joke. Okay, so sabihin mo lang kung ano mga kailangan nating hanapin para ano, mas maganda, mas direct natin masasagot yung mga questions na yan. Okay, so, ay shush. Wait lang, sagutin mo muna. Ikaw ba ay single? Single ka ba or you're in a relationship? Para if ever you're in a relationship, tingnan natin yung current energy ng relationship. And again, kung kailangan natin maghanap, so ito na rin yung perfect opportunity. Bibigyan kita ng airtime na ibigay yung mga ideal na gusto mo mahanap sa tao. Naging dating ano na ba? Naging dating game na. At dahil hindi ka pa masyadong nakikita, sige sagutin mo muna yung tanong and then once you answer this, I'll get back to you. Okay? Para marami tayong matulungan for tonight, sunod-sunod. Okay? So, okay. Okay, hindi pa rin niya nakikita. Sige, balikan ko na lang yan. So, eto na. Yung next muna tayo. Aba, ay shush, very good. Ayan. Naku, napaka meaningful naman itong next ano natin. So, suki. Siyempre, suki. Hi, Master. Marky, I resigned to my company na because I felt unappreciated with all my efforts all those years. I just want to ask about my future. Will I ever find the right path or career for me? Thank you so much, Master. Aba, napaka crucial ng ano ng tanong natin, and that really deserves a very meaningful na sagot din. So, naiintindihan ko yan yung pinagdaanan mo because sa lahat po ng some of you may have, especially yung mga suki natin, if you're a very supportive suki. Like, most of you, maraming salamat. And most of you know na hindi ko po talaga, this is really not my path. This path has just recently unfolded around almost 6 years ago. Almost 6 years, turning 6 years. And I'm already 37, turning 38 next year. But mostly in my journey, before Reiki, I was 32 when I met my teacher. But 32 years prior to that, I've been working in a corporate setting for a while, and I know how it feels to be in this position. And sabi ko nga hindi naman porke I'm here na nagtuturo ako, lahat ng mga experiences ko, sobrang ganda. Especially when it comes to my corporate life. Hindi po lahat ng pinagdaanan ko, ganun kaganda. In fact, before I transitioned, inaayos ko yung cards. Nakita ko hindi pala pare-pareho yung ano. Before I fully transitioned, actually one of the things talaga that happened is that I got fired from my job. I got fired. At least ikaw, you resigned. Ako, I got fired because I wasn't really doing well anymore. I started not caring, and that's what happened. And syempre, and because especially if you are mindful how the universe works, sobrang dali. Especially when you're a Reiki practitioner, and I'm already a Reiki practitioner back then. Hindi pa ako teacher. As a student ng Reiki, any energy that you put out, babalik sa amin mabilis. Lalo na ngayon as a teacher. When you do something good, ang bilis ng blessing. But you do the opposite, ang bilis din. And so I really learned a lot in that experience. And I wasn't afraid to go through it. I was afraid at first, pero eventually I trusted. And here I am right now. So, to answer this in a nutshell, bibigyan kita ng magandang perspective about this. Okay? Now, first of all, bago ako bumunot, bibigyan muna kita ng and this is usually, I'm always compelled to do this when I know the answer is very clear. And then, tsaka ako bubunot. And oftentimes, what I will say, pagdating sa pagbunot ko ng energies, ganun din. So, when you said, you will find, so that hindi ako magkakamali dun sa ano ko, I want to be very balanced here. Will I ever find the right path or career for me? The right path or the right career, that is a very important personal undertaking. And that really just doesn't resonate maturity, but it also goes to show how you would want to keep becoming a better version of yourself. And oftentimes when we start our journey, most of us will be very sure, very clear, very certain of which path to take. And there will be some who are just winging it. Sometimes they're just, flowing, going with the flow, not necessarily planning ahead, but they flow, and whatever comes in front of them, they grab the opportunity and they make it happen. There are some who would want to keep creating, keep waiting, no matter where approach you're coming from or which approach you are coming from, no matter which style and your approaches in life when it comes to these decisions. Honestly, and this is what I will say, you can easily compare. Sometimes kasi di ba sinasabi nila, if you are, let's say, if you have a day job and then you're doing something on the side, sabi nila yung what you're doing on the side is your passion and that is where you're supposed to be. And I've mentioned this before. I believe this is just last. This is just last Tarot Thursdays that I mentioned. Ay, hindi. Exactly the week of Tarot Tuesdays as well. Na sinabi ko na it does not honestly matter when it comes to what you're doing as a profession. Whether it is your actual passion or you're doing this because it is a priority. You're doing this because it puts food on the table. You're doing this because it allows you to get by. Or maybe it literally allows you to feel very comfortable in life now, no matter which you're coming from. And if the question is how you're gonna maintain that, all it takes is just put your mind and heart in that area, in that place, and then it will become that passion. Kasi anything, sorry, vibrate. Anything that we do when we put our mind and our heart and we put our love in what we do, no matter what it is, no matter which aspect of life, basta minahal na natin, we won't even see it as tinatrabaho. We are just simply doing it, and anything that we have to go through, dahil nagmamahal tayo, we are willing to go through it. And so it can be, and so equally, this is what, but because I understand, because I am also someone who shifted from one type of career to a career that I am even not ever in my wildest dreams I pictured happening, but here I am right now. I understand that na parang, okay, how do you really know? How do you really know na this is really the thing for you? That this is what you're supposed to do, you're meant to do, you're destined to do. My saying, my saying, the first is for you, of course, to be honest with yourself. It will always boil down to that. It will always boil down on how you become honest with yourself and how you trust yourself as you go through each journey. Kahit ano man journey sa buhay natin, that you're honest and you're trusting yourself. Pagsamahin natin yung dalawa because you cannot be very honest with yourself but not trusting it. And you cannot be trusting yourself without being honest with yourself. So it has to be both. You have to be honest. You have to be truthful to yourself and you have to trust your own truth. You have to live your own truth and you have to be that. So there are certain times in our life where in those opportunities are there in the onset, but then again as you go through this experience and then it suddenly changes. Do not be surprised because as we go through our life and as we progress in our life, I want to remind you what we all are, what everything is. Everything is energy and you too are energy. Now, when you define the word energy, when you simply Google it, it will tell you it is anything and everything that has the potential to change. So, for example, you talk about paper. We know that paper, although there are several methods nowadays to create paper, if we're gonna go old school, the very basic, the very foundation of creating paper, the process is coming from a tree. And before it is a tree, it is a seed. So this is not gonna lead towards like an egg and chicken contest na parang anong mauuna. My point here is that as a seed, until it becomes a tree, it goes through a process of change. And then once it's a tree, it goes through another sets and processes of change until it becomes paper. And being paper is not the last stage of it. Anything that you can do to apply change on paper, it will happen. You can crumple it there to pieces, you can even burn it. And when you do, it will be subjected to change, just like how we are human beings. So, whenever we feel that we are in this place right now and you want to honor that truth, and then after some time you get to discover that your truth is starting to evolve, and then you have to trust it, and that it's okay to trust it. So, my say, when you are someone who trusts God's plans right away, and how would you know, by the way, if this is, kasi this is, I'll tell you of one universal spiritual law. This is very essential for us to understand how go with the flow really matters in our life. But we often hear, go with the flow, go with the flow. But honestly, what do we mean by going with the flow? So I will illustrate this example and this explanation through the help. Ay, thank you, baby. Ano ba? Ay, naka-chancing pa ako. Love you. Ay, sus, lumandi pa. Okay. Nawala na ako. Joke lang. So, may say, naalala nyo, this is really something we keep hearing, go with the flow. But how do we really understand go with the flow? So, I'll compare it with a body of water, like a river. Na ang river, no matter which time of the day, of the year, it has one steady flow. Let's say, for instance, from left to right. Okay, so from left to right. So, if we illustrate, if you are, let's say, a very good swimmer, na kahit na you go against the tides, against the wave, against the flow of the direction of the water, but because you're a very good swimmer, I'm pretty sure you can do that. If you're very good in swimming, no matter how tough or how sweet the waves are, I'm pretty sure you'll survive that. You'll swim. Definitely swim. But because you're very good at it. But then check your energy after. You can be physically, emotionally, mentally, or even spiritually tired or drained because you have to exert efforts. You can make it definitely, but you're going to have to exert a lot of effort, and that's okay. You'll survive anyway. Now, on the other hand, if you're also a swimmer, you would know that our swim coaches would always, wow, swim coaches natin, wow, hindi, by the way, hindi ako marunong lumangoy. So, sorry na. So, I'm just referring this because everybody says this. Every swim coach would always say, in emergency cases, the best way to survive is just float. Just float. That's the best way to survive. Just float. And so you'd say that when you float during emergency cases, it's effortless and you'll survive. As in, practically, you're just flowing. And then eventually you're going to survive. Because you know what? You can simply illustrate that whenever. And I've said this before and I will continuously say this. It honestly does not matter what your own goals are, what your own goals, dreams, aspirations, plans that you would want to achieve in life. You can have as much as you can. But oftentimes, this is really how it is. It does not really matter what your own goals are. The only thing that matters is what's God's plans for you. Because no matter how very good you are as you ride the waves and as you go through, giving all your best efforts, swimming across or at least against the wave, of course you're gonna make it because you're trained to do that. But it will always feel like that. It will always feel tiring. It will always feel like you're gonna be drained no matter what. But then again, there is always this feeling that when you just surrender to the flow, and honestly, you'd remember, you'd recognize it if you're flowing to God's plans, when it's always effortless, that no matter how others will perceive it, even if others would see or feel or say in their own opinion, it's hard. Why you're doing that? That's hard. But if it doesn't feel the same for you, if it feels effortless, it's because it's meant for you. That no matter how challenging the tasks are, what you have to go through, you're okay to go through it and you're happy to go through it. And that is because it's meant for you. It's effortless for you. And honestly, if it has to take that you have to go through many opportunities for you to really see and test the waters only for you to eventually know what God's plans for you are, then so go for it. Go for it. And to not be afraid and to keep trusting that no matter which path you will take, you're going to be led to where you're supposed to be. Only if you trust God's plans for you, it will always happen. It will come to you in the path of least resistance. It will happen if you don't resist anymore. And most of us will have an idea where we're supposed to be. Most of us will have an idea what you can do. Only that oftentimes we doubt it. Oftentimes there's fear. Oftentimes we just want to conform. And so I say, it's also okay. There's no judgment because sometimes we feel like, hindi yata para sa akin. Kung para sa akin, para sa akin. You know? I say, sometimes all it takes is for us to really trust, to take these calculated risks, and to go for it, and to give it a go, and to trust, and be willing to go through, no matter what the ups and downs or the roller coaster ride is offering. After all, if it's a roller coaster ride, that's still a ride meant to be enjoyed. So, so hindi pa ako bumubunot sa'yo ng card sa'yo. You already have an idea how to make it happen because you have what it takes. You know what you deserve as you go through your life. You get to really measure what you deserve because the more that you know what you are, and when you trust of who you are and you know your capacities, what you can do, and even more, mas lumalaki yung alam mong para sa'yo. Mas nade-develop, nagiging komportable ka with what you deserve. And that also allows us to really wish for greater things. And that's not bad. So bubunot ako ng cards for you, but that's my guide for you. No matter what is going to unfold in your life, you are in control. But you have to trust the process, of course. And there are often times that all it takes is for you to really trust God. Easier said than done, I know, because I'm not bulletproof in this. It doesn't mean that I am in the ability to share, to guide, na hindi na ako nakakaramdam ng ganyan. Of course I do. I always do. But I have, kung ano man yung pinapayo sa inyo, I use those tools myself. Ginagamit ko yun sa sarili ko because I can never give something I do not have. And I can never speak freely of these steps kung hindi ko siya na-apply myself. And I've been doing this over and over. So I want you to trust it as well. Try mo. So tingnan natin yung sa question mo. Will you ever? May say, of course, nasa kamay mo kasi. And you just have to trust God's plans. Ayun. Tingnan mo. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. So, hindi pa ako bumubunot ng cards, but it speaks of the same. Tingnan mo how funny this is. This is the Six of Swords. Six of Swords wherein may boat going onto this direction and there is another boat that goes the other direction. Exactly what I was referring to. I know to your heart you know what you need and you want to do. You've always known it. It's only a matter of trusting it this time. Because we cannot fully say na you've surrendered fully if we haven't really given it a good try. If we haven't really pushed ourselves, just kinatry mo lang. And I have a very good story to tell on that. Because sabi ko nga the only time, and by the way, dito naman tayo makaka-relate din. And so sa iyo na sa ating current participant, this is my fair share of the story. So this is end of 2017. It was December of 2017 when I was on suspension because they're going to investigate in my previous company. I'm not gonna mention the nitty-gritty of it, but because they're investigating my case. I got suspended first. And December, imagine mo magpapasko and I got suspended, and uh, I was practically one of the biggest threats in my life, because what a perfect timing for Christmas season for me to go through this. The gift giving season, the merriest season of the year. And then I am faced with that trouble. And I don't even have the courage to tell my family. And my family was starting to see me not going to work. At first, I was so afraid. The following day, I woke up the same time, dressed the same way I dress up, even drove to my work as early as I can. But I didn't go to work because I was so shy for my family to know, because I thought, at least my family thought that I was doing well. And because I was doing well for some time, but during that time, I wasn't. And I was so afraid to disappoint everybody, because I'm already disappointed with myself, because I saw it coming, only that because I'm not mindful. And so, finally, nung alam ko na I'm not gonna make it, I'm pretty sure at the end of that investigation, because I'm also guilty of my own actions, because I'm honest with myself, I know it's not gonna be good for me. And so, nung alam ko na malakas na yung pakiramdam ko na I'm not gonna make it, that they're gonna fire me. And so, I told myself, okay, either either get a new job in a different company or do something new. Honestly, I was just geared towards getting a new job, similar job. But I was telling myself that's just the most practical thing I can do, because I've been doing this for a long time. I can easily sell myself and, just go to a different job, a new company, and that would be solving my problems really quick. But then again, I realized at the end, I will always end up where I am at. I will always end up thinking I would have done something different, or I would have been somewhere that I would be happier. And so I knew if I stay in the same path, I knew I'm gonna end up getting the same thing again. And so, ang ginawa ko for my new year, and by the way, I do this professionally as well. Um, it's like the New Year reading for you to look forward to the new year, and I do that professionally. Some of you who wants to get a glimpse of how 2022 will be, I do that, and then so I did that for myself, and kumuha ko ng 5 cards, and 4 out of 5 of the cards in the bunot ko are major cards, and 4 out of 5 major cards. That's a clear message right there. Na I may not necessarily know the nitty-gritty of how my everyday will unfold, but what if there's only one assurance that I have, kung ano man pagdadaanan ko, in the end, I will make it. And so yun lang ang pinangahawakan ko. And so of course, I have to trust God. I have to trust. This is the message right there. It may not necessarily be clear kung anong pagdadaanan ko. But if there's one thing that is assured of me during that time, is that I will make it. And so, ayoko naman din na hindi ako na everyday babasahin ko yung mga buhay ko. And I just wanted to trust even more and to develop that trust. And so I did. And here I am. 3 years after, here I am. So I say, just go through life and trust God's plans for you. And no matter what you go through, you have to trust that you're equipped with the wisdom. So my say, if it also makes you feel better to take time for you to really honor your truth, then go ahead. If it just maybe needs a little time for you to decide on things, or maybe if you would want to stick to the old ways, then that's also fine, because every opportunity that we have is an opportunity for us to learn, to be better, and so just embrace it and trust that no matter what, in time it will happen. You will be guided where you're supposed to be. And so my say, and in this, it's pretty clear that you know where you're supposed to go. All it takes is for you to surrender to God's plans. And so if you would want to choose that this time, it will happen. So all it takes is for you to surrender fully and for you to trust fully. Okay? And no matter what it is, trust you're guided. Trust that. Thanks for joining Tarot Tuesdays. Wow, our audience is really global each time. I want to say hi, special shout out to a very good friend of mine, si Cha, all the way from Sweden. Anak ko yan, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining Tarot Tuesdays. Oh, baka may tanong ka, alam mo na. So, time check. Almost 34 minutes before we end our session. Marami pang time. Dire-diretso na tayo. Okay? Ayun. Always welcome. Okay. Okay, teka. Asan na? Teka. Ay, ito na yung sagot. Okay. Almost 1 year, 7 months po siya niligawan. Gusto ko po malaman if magiging maayos po ba ang takbo ng relation namin. Dalawa and healthy po ba? Okay. So, ito yung kanina, by the way, I was just asking kung single o hindi. Wait lang. In a relationship, magiging maayos ang takbo ng relationship namin. Okay, that's good. Sige, tingnan natin yan. So, yung current participant natin ngayon, earlier siya yung ano kanina, I was just asking because if it's, by the way, kung ang magiging questions natin will be about love life, just indicate if you're single or in a relationship. Para kung single kayo, mahahanapan namin kayo ng partner. Ipopost natin dito yung plea. Looking for, lagyan natin yung mga, ano natin, yung mga preference. Naging ano na rin, naging dating site na rin. Naging dating show na pala tong ano. But you know what? Why not? If that's the help that we can give, why not? We're willing to help you in any way that we can. That also involves kung kailangan nating ano, mag matchmaking ano and play Cupid. Okay. So tingnan natin. So 1 year, 7 months that you guys are together. Tingnan natin ang current energy ninyong dalawa. Okay. Okay, eto. Uy. You have a minor card, but this is actually a very good card. We have 9 of coins. 9 of coins. So if the question if it's healthy, and you can see the environment right there, the environment of where this lady is at is very, very balanced. Maganda yung environment. You can see coins every time we get coins, by the way, in our minor cards. It represents abundance, of course. But in this case, the abundance as I'm seeing is really a balance of really how the love is growing. Okay. Ah, ay sus, okay. Now, eto na, okay. 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 Sandali, meron lang akong nasagap. Okay. So, there are really times that when you love the person, syempre, the goal is to always think ahead. Okay, so the goal is to always think ahead. The goal is to really, syempre, we would all dream that when we are in a relationship, na syempre it's especially if the relationship is healthy, it's doing well. Of course, the goal is to settle down yung ganyan, and you already start to have the future plans. And if the question is if the person is on the same page, okay. If sometimes anong tawag dito, we become very, very comfortable with the present, but some of us in a relationship, the goal is to always to think ahead, to think of the future, to solidify the foundation. But of course, it always is best when both are in the same picture. Now, in this case, if sometimes yan yung nagiging question natin, because sometimes iba yung nararamdaman natin sa iba yung nakikita natin versus sa iba yung sa sinasabi. I'm telling you, sometimes kasi when the relationship, kasi there are of course stages when it comes to relationships. And most of you may be familiar with the first few stages. That means they call it usually the honeymoon stage, in which the all sugar and spice and everything nice happens on all the flavors, the sweetness, and all of those shenanigans at the very start of the relationship. Of course, it's all nice and pretty. And of course, as you go through the level of familiarity and comfort towards each other. And then, medyo to a certain extent, people may consider it as a plot 2. Kasi komportable na eh. Yung Kung before you are always looking forward to it and then you exert all the efforts that you need, and then pag masyado ng komportable, minsan either nababawasan, hindi na masyado. And then, ayun, oftentimes, feeling natin, because we're too familiar, hindi na tayo mag-effort. Kasi kampante na tayo. Oftentimes, napapabayaan yung ganyan. Because sabi ko nga, lahat ng forms ng relationship, if you want to grow something, you have to give the right conditions for it to grow. And the condition should be something that allows the love to grow. So that means continuous effort to grow more love, to grow more trust, to grow more happiness. And when I say when you're growing it with those conditions, it's not again just about the good things. That when you get to discover may mga bagay na kailangan ayusin sa relationship and you give the same efforts, that's growing the relationship. You're doing the part. All you need to do is, of course, because you know what, there are also success stories naman when both are very comfortable with each other. Hindi na siya stage of worry. But sometimes, hindi pare-pareho yung story. Sometimes, the level of comfort, the level of familiarity, either one party would wish some more excitement, some more, like an evolution of this thrill, and to not just to spice up the relationship, but to really consciously do anything and everything that it takes to make the love grow by making it more interesting every day. But not all. So I say all it takes is for you to get to know your partner really well, and that is through honesty in the communication. That no matter how often you communicate or hindi, or no matter how often you communicate your feelings, your emotions, what you go through or hindi, it's the quality of communication that you have. That no matter how long or how short the time you allot for each other, you provide the best quality. And so when you provide that, and when you have that continuously, and then you know kung nasaan kayo, both. And when you're both honest with each other, it really allows more room to grow love. And so my sake, nandun kayo sa stage na yun. But if you want to make it more, if you want to continuously provide the best conditions for the relationship, then nasa kamay ninyo pareho. And it will not hurt to be very conscious about the providing the best conditions in the relationship. Because after all, sabi ko nga, it's like growing these plants. Diba? You may think that they're very, very lush like this. Ito mo na, ang daming mga bagong tubo like this. But of course, when we put it in a pot, you don't expect it to grow taller. Because you are putting it in this, it will adapt to its condition. You put it into the wild, mas lalago yan. It will be more limitless because it has more room to grow. And it doesn't mean it's not gonna grow here, but it will grow according to the condition that we're providing. We give it a better condition, it will grow even more. And so you know what the best conditions are. So no one will tell you how to grow it exactly. Because you're the ones experiencing the relationship. You know through constant communication and through constant honest communication with each other, and with truthfulness and trust with each other, you will have a better opportunity to grow it. Do not be afraid to start talking about the future plans as eager as you are and as eager as you're feeling this right now. And the goal here is to grow more love and to push through that direction, and it will happen. It's really right there. So my say, for you to grow it even more is to continue that. And you can never go wrong. Okay? Thanks for joining Tarot Tuesdays. So, may time pa tayo. Sa lahat ng mga gusto mag-participate, we still have time. Kasagot ko kayo. If you have any questions about love life, yung career natin, and grabe, wala pa nagtatanong sa health. Grabe kayo, ha? Sabi ko nga ang dami-dami nating plano, pero if we don't have the best health, Paano natin ma-achieve yan? Oh my gosh, special shout out to my Mary all the way from Singapore. Napaka-global ng show natin. Show talaga. Thank you so much, Mary Zai, for tuning in tonight. Maraming salamat. Oh, if you have question na, may time pa tayo. Go for it. Sige, you know how it is? And this participant had another question, but definitely, pag naubos natin yung Q&A, we still have time. Sige, we'll do a run through sa ating questions, okay? So, next participant naman na tayo. Ayun. Yung next participant natin ay Suki na naman, and I'm so happy. Maraming salamat for the continuous love and support. It's nice to be love you, Mary. Maraming salamat. Okay. So, hello, Sir Marky. Good evening. Good evening. Yan. I want you to read about my... speaking, ang galing ko talaga mag-manifest. Ay, ito na. Health ang ating question, itong ating current participant. And as an energy healer, dahil dyan, para mas galingan ko pa, one last sip of coffee. Sarap. Okay. So, every time it's going to be a health question, especially sa mga suki natin dito, you know how it is. I'm gonna check the aura of our participant for tonight. And depending kung saan mapupunta yung attention ko in specific areas or body parts ng katawan natin, it will always present us a lesson that we can learn from in our life. And mostly, these are the things that I teach in a Reiki class, because all it takes, by the way, for us to be very healthy, to live a healthier life, is for us to get to know our body on a deeper level. Because little did you know that our body is a directory of lessons that we are just needing to learn in our lives. So how does it happen in our body, and how does it manifest in our body? And all it takes, by the way, is every single time that you're feeling any manifestation of pain or nagmanifest siya into an illness, depending on which body part of our body has manifested those two, it resonates the lesson that our body is telling us to learn. And so, you would hear stories na, especially parang all their life, hindi naman sakitin, tas eventually in the latter part of their life, that's the time that these either illnesses would manifest, okay? Because again, our body is always giving us that chance. Our body is always giving us that perfect chance for us to keep learning. And you'll be surprised that the mere acknowledging of these lessons, and more so if we work on it and if we address it and we improve that life aspect, definitely everything else will improve. Our body will naturally heal, and that is what we teach in our Reiki class. By the way, if some of you may be needing some healing and gusto nyo ma-experience yung Reiki, sabihin nyo lang sa akin, lagay nyo, mag-comment kayo if you need healing. Sa mga gusto maka-experience ng Reiki tonight, bibigyan ko lang kayo ng instruction. Kasi makikita nyo right before your very eyes. Magkakaroon tayo ng like before and after. Like before I send Reiki and after I send it, may makikita nyo yung difference. So kung gusto nyo, kung may nararamdaman din kayo. And by the way, dito sa current participant natin, baka gusto mo rin mag-Reiki. Gusto mo din Gusto mo rin ba mag-Reiki? Yan. Para naman, bibigyan kita ng instructions kung gusto mo. So, titingnan ko lang yung body parts natin and we will see kung saan yung areas ng focus natin. Yes, sige. Dahil yung current participant natin, by the way, uunahin ko na instructions so that to everybody who's watching right now, I want you to also do the same thing. And to check this, I'll give you the same instructions. And pag kailangan nyo o gusto nyo mag-participate sa Reiki, just tell me and I'll help you on that. Para dito sa current participant and to everybody watching, ganito lang po. To see if your body needs to heal o kaya kapag merong at tinitingnan ko naman kung may bad energy sa katawan natin. And this is how you're gonna know that. Just by simply checking your wrists. So this is step 1. First is to check both of your wrists. And yung sa wrist natin dito, di ba may mga linya-linya dito? Some of us, isa lang. Some of us, several yung lines. Like mine is several lines. The first thing to know is to check sa... Ay, shush, sandali. Ay, shush. Come here, baby. Say hi uli. Ay, shush. Ay, shush. Ay, shush. Gusto mag-hi daw po siya. O, sige. Later we will play, ha? Work lang si daddy. So, First is to check kung alin yung pinakamakapal or pinaka-prominent line here dun sa wrist natin. Now, how to know both is that pag nakita niyo na yung kung anong pinakamakapal on both, the next step is to align it sideways like this. Kapag inalign nyo na yung dalawang pinakamakapal na line dito sa wrist natin, it will create a perfect line. Kapag perfect line yung nabuo, isang straight line yung nabuo niya that connects both of your wrists, nakuha mo yung tamang line. Now, the next is that step 3, once you align it perfectly, and it has to be aligned perfectly, next is to put it side by side like this, and you should see your pinkies perfectly aligned like this. So, dapat perfectly pantay na pantay yung pinky. And may line sa gitna ng palm natin, yun nandito. Yes, pag dapat yan pantay na pantay din with each other for both hands. Now, kung kahit maliit lang na hindi pantay, either yung linya dito or yung pinky hindi pantay, and sometimes you'll be surprised, pantay yung gitna, pero yung pinky ganyan, malayo. Or, pantay dito and yung linya sa gitna yung hindi, that is an indicator that there is bad energy in the body. And kung hindi pantay yan, that's the time that I send you healing, and then, tinan mo siya. Ayun. Nakatambay lang kay daddy. So, kung hindi siya nagpantay, check mo, pantay, hindi. Dahil pag hindi siya nagpantay, that is my duty to remove that. Hindi pantay. Okay, so hindi pantay. Okay. So, wait lang. Hindi yung sa wrist yung unang titignan natin. By the way, ang starting point natin will be the wrist. So, yung dito sa wrist, yun yung starting point mo. Papantayin mo siya muna perfectly here. Ang pinakatitignan natin is yung linya dito o yung sa pinky kung hindi pantay. Pag hindi nagpantay yan, that's your indicator. Magsa-start ka sa very bottom. Okay? So, paki-check ulit. So, para din sa inyo, to those who are wanting to receive Reiki and for me to send healing, check nyo lang yan para makikita nyo rin. Sa middle line and pinky malayo. Ayun, okay. So, tignan natin. So, malayo. And then, after I give kung saang areas yung kailangan na focus, and then I will send healing for you. Okay? So, tingnan muna natin. Okay. Now, okay. So, sometimes you are very prone to migraines. You're very prone to experiencing migraines or headaches. It's because you are an overthinker. You tend to overprocess yung mga thoughts natin and bumababa siya. And that's why mas nagre-resonate, kitang-kita yung right shoulder and the right shoulder blade. Ito yung area sa likod na gusto natin papamasahe. But most likely, mas mabigat dito. Very stiff. Yung pag hinawakan mo matigas. And pag pinisel masakit. That is, there's heaviness that I feel on the right. Also, the lower back, because you need rest and sleep. Hindi tayo nakakakompleto ng 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. Hindi rin, I want to encourage mas water yung fluid intake natin versus colored drinks, because although I have bias with coffee and tea, iwas na lang muna natin if we can refrain from any colored beverages. Okay, coffee, tea. Okay, may bias kasi ako dyan. Papadagdag ng energy. But as much as possible, I want you to rest. I want you to drink more water. Also, your right knee. Yung right knee, I'm feeling right knee. By the way, if your feet somehow are starting to hurt, if your feet feels pain, may meaning din yan. And it creates a domino effect pag sumakit na yung paa natin, because our feet has a direct connection to our kidney. And there are also many internal organs na may mga pressure or acupressure points located in our feet that na we may feel like our feet are just hurting, or yung parang laging pagod, or may masakit, or not just limited to that. Sometimes it's just in a form of wound or injuries. It's all the same. Basta when may kino-complain tayo on certain body parts, our body is telling us something. A lesson is needed to be learned. And through manifestations of pain or illnesses, dun yung nagre-reflect. Now, our body is divided into two. Right side is sacred feminine, positively charged side of our body. Left side, sacred feminine, or the negatively charged na area of our body, parang battery, may positive, may negative. And any pain or illnesses that manifests on our right side ang nag-contribute niyan ay male person in our life. Same kapag sa left natin, it's a female person in our life that directly affects it. So yung shoulder, these are male. Now we feel a male person in our life, and I'm seeing more of the partner here. Okay, I'm seeing more of the partner here na we feel very responsible for na lalaki. And then, oh, meron ba tayong anak? I wanna know kung meron din tayong anak. And kung lalaki din yung anak. Kung babae and lalaki, mas may feel ko dito. Nasa right. So that means mas sa lalaki. But then, yung tuhod, I'm also very mindful of that because our knees represent our father. And when we think of our father, ano yung mga experiences? If it's not 100% smooth, kapag meron tayong dinadalang mga past experiences and mga worries towards them, mag-reflect yan. But the feet, pag sumakit yung feet natin, if any particular time in our life that we get to question, asa na ba ako? May growth pa ba? May progress pa ba? Am I gonna improve? Ito na ba yun? Mag-i-improve pa ba yun? Basta anytime you get to question, practically, your progress or your mobility, sasakit yung paa natin. And also when you get to doubt where you are or you wish that you're somewhere else, in terms of mobility, dyan magre-reflect yan sa paa natin. And every time that we do is an opportunity for our body to tell us that's the lesson. So, First of all, there's really nothing wrong. Now, kasi it trickles down yung mga goals natin. And sometimes kasi when we get to over-process yung mga goals natin, we get to over-process din yung thoughts natin. But when we find ourselves na just worrying and we're not doing anything about it, we are just plainly worrying. Pero wherein if we divert our attention into taking action, into looking to better opportunities to rise above, that is a better solution kesa iisipin lang natin. Oftentimes, what it takes is for us to take action aside from just processing it in our thoughts. Process it and make sure that you discern really well, but the next is for you to do something about it. Now, yung responsibilities natin here, it trickles down because you are wanting to provide. You are wanting to provide a better future. And if there are questions mismo sa sarili mo, questioning where you are, it also trickles down into questioning if you can do that for other people. If you're doing a good job helping others or your other priorities. Okay? So it will always create a snowball effect. And so my say, at the end of it, anong message? It's for you to trust. It's for you to trust where you are and kung anong meron ka. And if you would want to be elsewhere, to do something better, and that's the next thing that you should do. You should allow to make it happen. Kasi kung hindi natin inaalaw, but we're just processing it here, we are just adding more frustration in our own life experiences. Instead of us finding ways to improve it, instead of us finding ways for us to become better, we are only processing it here. But do know that we can do something about it only if you allow yourself to do something about it. Until you do, and then there's really work. You have to work on that. So may say, teka, sasendan muna kita ng Reiki. Now the goal as I send you Reiki is for you to see after me sending healing, dapat magpapantay na yan, ha? So kung may gusto din sa inyo to experience this, let me know. Pero ito, sandali. Let me send you Reiki. Okay, pakicheck mo na ulit kung nagpantay na. Pakicheck mo na ulit kung nagpantay na. The goal is magpantay yung hands mo after this. And by the way, I'm so sorry if I have to burp it out because as an energy healer, dapat ang release niyan is the patient. But it's just easier. Actually, yung binurp out ko, those are the bad energies that I need to remove in the body nung participant natin. It's just easier for the healer to do that on behalf of the patient. So, pakicheck mo na ulit. The goal is magpantay na yan. And my say for you to naturally heal on these situations is to learn to realize that hindi pa rin. Okay, sige, let's do it again. So sometimes kasi it also takes a process for you to, especially depending kung gaano nakatagal kinikerry yung ganitong experiences. Okay, check mo na uli. Check mo na uli. And there are also some certain situations we're in, even if I give it several rounds, if hindi pa rin siya pagpantay fully because there is the lesson that we need to take action na. Because that means your body is needing you to take action on it na. And all it takes for you to naturally heal is for you to change something. And we can only do so if we are also willing to change. So in short, us healers, we help you facilitate the healing for you through our guidance. And if you, accompanied by the will to change and the action to take the change, nabago na ng konti. Okay, siguro. O yun, so that's the message there. We need to take action. But sige, tignan ko, one last try. Okay, may gagawin lang ako, ha? Okay, can you check it ulit one last time? Okay, can you check it one last time and see? Now, remember, sa lahat din, it may be this particular na yung current participant natin na I'm sharing this guidance with. Pero I'm talking about the same thing for everybody. All it takes is for you to, just by checking your own hands, magkakaroon ka na ng idea on how much energy you need to improve your health. Because again, marami tayong, kahit ganun pa din, that's the, and then that's the, kung hindi siya fully nagpantay, that means we need to take action on those guidance and yung meron talagang kailangang matutunan na lesson here. So my say, every day, this can be also your gauge. Every time that you're starting to feel doubt, every time that you're starting to feel fear, every time that you're starting to question yourself, and every time that you go through yung mga sinabi ko na body parts and yung mga guidance na binigay ko sa iyo, every single time that you go through that, and then you get to surrender to more doubt, to more fear, and then you check your hands and hindi siya nagpapantay because it gives you an idea of what kind of energy we are processing internally. Because remember, when you hear, I'm pretty sure you've heard this before, what you think you become. And what you say you become, that is true because anything that we process in our thoughts, di ba nga that's comprised of our energy? Yung thoughts natin, they produce energy. Pag nagsalita tayo, that produces energy. Sabi, more so pag nagsalita na pag we started verbalizing it, it becomes words because pag nasabi na natin, hindi na natin pwedeng bawiin. Lalo na kung hindi maganda yung nasabi natin, we can only apologize for it. Pero hindi na natin mababawi dahil nasabi na natin. It is the same thing. So, my say, when we go through our everyday, and then you get to process these lessons, o kaya, ayan na naman, may trigger na naman, and then feeling ko mapapa-overthink na naman ako. And then that really is the perfect opportunity for you, number one, as part of healing process para and not just para dito sa current participant natin, but for everybody who may be going through, not necessarily what this current participant is going through, but if you're going through some life challenges of your own, and then kailangan lang maging mindful ka, okay, what are the things that I am processing in my thoughts? If hindi maganda, do know kung ang mga decisions and yung actions natin will circle around those not so good na mga thoughts, it will manifest the same. Yun din na makukuha natin. Kung ano iniisip natin, yun din makukuha natin. But if we become very mindful, the first step is to acknowledge we are not gonna lie sa sarili natin. If we see na we experience na okay, talagang I'm shaken, na talagang medyo I'm getting a lot of doubt. I'm getting a lot of fear, then you have to be honest. You have to be honest. And when you're honest, the next step after you acknowledge it is for you to ask yourself, what can I do to improve this? And am I in the right headspace for me to do this? Because sometimes it's not just the acknowledgement na, oo nga, there's the need for change, but are you willing to take that change right now? Are you willing to change right now? Kasi if the answer rather is hindi pa, then you also have to honor that. Because oftentimes, it's not that we're not aware. Most of us are aware. Most of us are honest enough to know and to recognize where we are at the moment. But the real question is, are we willing to step up and to take the change right now? Because if as of the moment hindi pa, it's okay. No one is pressuring you. We are only in tough competition with ourselves. Pero kung within our own selves, hindi rin tayo masyadong best friends sa sarili natin, and then we start there. Befriend our own self and be sure nakakampi mo ang sarili mo through thick and thin, and you should be more than willing to go through life's challenges na you're gonna stick to yourself. Kakampihan mo yung sarili mo and you will help yourself. Because if you're not gonna give that to yourself, no one will. So the first step is to do that to yourself. Kakampi ang sarili. Be best friends with yourself. Not to tolerate yourself, but to always see, first is to acknowledge and be honest, and number two, if you're willing to take that change, and by all means take it. And only then shall you improve on this. And by then, watch, ang magiging gauge mo is, the goal is every time that you choose yourself and you honor yourself and become an honor change and you start applying those change, and of course, the next goal is to be consistent. Kasi doing it is one, but being consistent is another. So the next step is for you to become very consistent with it. And once you're already consistent, and that's another opportunity to see it naturally heal. Your goal is magpantay na magpantay unti-unti. And that is also your cue for you to know how much more effort ang ilalabas, how much more mindfulness ang ibibigay mo, and how much more work that should be done, and how much more you will prepare yourself. Unti-unti makikita mo yan through that. So I say, do not be afraid to go through this, especially now that you know how to do it. So I say, the first thing to do after this is to not be afraid to process it and to honor your own pace. You will know when you're ready, and when you are, go through it. Okay? Thank you for joining our Tarot Tuesdays. And unfortunately, that is it for our session for tonight. I do hope, medyo mahaba pa yung pila natin after, but one good thing is because we have one more session this coming Thursday, please join us on our next session, Tarot Thursdays. I know sa mga hindi po nakahabol for tonight, may chance pa tayo. Agahan lang. Syempre, mabilisan tayo dito. But of course, let me take this opportunity as well to remind everybody, if you haven't watched our weekly tarot reading, dahil napakahaba ng ating mga warnings this week, and lalo tomorrow, mas kakapit tayo tomorrow, you have to be very patient going through tomorrow's energies. And if you haven't watched our weekly tarot reading, this is always our staple Sunday episode. I highly encourage, again, the more we are prepared, the more we get to prepare yung ating energy, no matter how smooth o hindi, it allows us to be mindful of our energy and to be more in control as much as we can when we are mindful. Damien, thank you, Sir Marky. Super great messages. Maraming salamat din, Damien, for always joining us. And magkikita tayo sa Thursday at. And by the way, same time, same channel din tayo. Every Thursday, I will see everybody 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And please share to everybody para mas marami tayong matulungan. But of course, this is really a very good opportunity for us to keep learning from each other. So just like how Damien is really agreeing how this session is very fulfilling, on my end, I'm very fulfilled as well. So samahan niyo po uli ako next Thursday. And syempre, to go through our another weekly energy natin sa Sunday episode natin. But for now, eto na naman tayo. Laging nagpapaalala na naman sa lahat to keep trusting the process. Maraming salamat everybody for staying. And this is Marky Mendoza again. Namaskaram. Maraming salamat. Kami magdadasal na. Okay? Happy Navaratri, my fellow Hindus. And syempre sa lahat din naniniwala. Happy Navaratri. Maraming salamat. Namaskaram everybody. Have a great night. See you. Maraming salamat.